Daf Yomi Tractate Zevachim, page 77. On the bottom, we're starting at the bottom of 76b with the words Amar Yehuda, Braid, Rav Shimon ben Pazi, Demasik Luhu L'Shem Eitzim D'Tani L'B'Yezer L'M'Ra'Lechoy Yazamale Avatamale L'Shem Eitzim. Okay, tapas. Okay, now we're still on the bottom of 76b. Rabbi Yehuda, son of Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi, says that the priest does not sprinkle the oil as a definite rite, but stipulates that if the man is not a leper, he is sprinkling in a manner analogous to other items that one burns for the sake of wood, meaning as fuel for the altar and not as a sacrificial rite. As the Chadash writes that Rabbi Eliezer says, the verse states, no meal offering that you shall bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, for you shall make no leaven nor any honey, smoke. Right? False or called Davash, right? Smoke from it is as an offering made by fire to the Lord, as an offering of first fruits. You may bring them to the Lord, but they shall not come up for a pleasing aroma on the altar. Leviticus 2:11 and 12. This verse indicates that you may not offer up leaven and honey as a pleasing aroma and offering, but you may offer up leaven and honey and other substances. Okay, other substances. Now we're on the top of 77a. For the sake of wood, not as an offering. Here as well, the priest stipulates that if the man is not a confirmed leper, the sprinkling of the oil should not be viewed as a rite. Okay? Should not be viewed as a rite, but rather left. No, just kidding. B'honika shirayim, tiboim alenu machalinu, v'gahach porta d'lakam v'zeh tipagle. The Gemara questions further. But even if the priest removes a handful from the oil and burns it, and also sprinkles from the oil, there is the matter of the remainder of the oil, which must be filled after the removal of the handful, so that the priest can perform the sprinkling with a full log. And there is therefore that bit of oil that was added, from which the priest did not remove the handful initially, if the one bringing the offering is not a leper, and the log of oil is a gift, it will turn out that there is a small portion of the oil that was not permitted by the removal of the handful. The Gemara explains that the priest redeems it after the sprinklings of the oil have been performed. He stipulates that if the person who brought the offering is not a leper, then the oil shall be desacralized by his giving its value to the temple treasury. The Gemara asks, if you say that he redeems it, where does he redeem it? If he redeems it when the oil was within the walls of the temple, he would thereby be bringing non-sacred oil into the courtyard. If he redeems the oil out to the courtyard before he can redeem the oil, it would become disqualified due to the prohibition of a consecrated item leaving the courtyard. The Gemara answers, actually, he redeems the oil when it is within the walls of the temple. This is permitted because the non-sacred oil is then found in the temple courtyard by itself, meaning he did not bring a non-sacred item into the temple courtyard. Tekune Gavashani. The Gemara asks a question with regard to the suggested resolution. According to the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, that one whose status as a leper is uncertain should bring a log of oil as a gift offering and state a stipulation. But doesn't Rabbi Shimon say that one may not donate oil as a gift? The Gemara answers, as on 76b, the remedy of a person is different. Meaning, Rabbi Shimon concedes that one may donate oil in this instance, as this is the only manner by which this person can undergo ritual purification. Yasiv Rav Rachumi Kaminavina Rachumi 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 Rachumi. Wow. Yasiv Rav Rachumi Kaminavina Yasiv Kaminavina Ravuna Batachlifa V'nema Hashem Ze Yehe Hashem Talui. The Gemara continues to discuss the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. It was stated above that, according to Rabbi Shimon, one whose status as leper is uncertain may bring a lamb as a gift for a peace offering and state a stipulation with regard to it. The Gemara relates that Rav Rechumi was sitting before Ravina, and he was sitting and saying the following in the name of Rav Huna, Bar Tachlifa. But why can't he bring a lamb for a guilt offering and say that if he is not a leper, and then this guilt offering shall be a provisional guilt offering brought by one who is uncertain whether he committed a sin that requires a sin offering. This guilt offering is eaten for one day and night, like the guilt offering of a leper, and therefore he would not be reducing the time for its consumption, unlike when he stipulates that it should be a peace offering. Shmamina man tanepali galei Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon hu yamar emitna v'rasham talui amalei toira Rav Chumi continued, since this option was not suggested, one can learn from here that who the Tana disagrees with the opinion of Eliezer, who holds that one may donate a provisional gift offering. See Kritut 25a. It is Rabbi Shimon who says, by inference from his suggestion here, that one may not donate a provisional guilt offering. Ravina said to Rabbi Rechumi, Toira. That is, where is the Torah of such a great man such as yourself? You are confusing lambs with rams. The guilt offering of a leper is a lamb in its first year. See Leviticus 14:10, which cannot be brought as a provisional guilt offering because these must be rams. See Leviticus 5:15, meaning they must be in their second year. That's the Gemara. Now we start a new Mishnah. Evrei chata shisavu be'evrei oilo. Rabbi Eliezer Omer yitin mala v'royani el pesar chatas milmala ki'ilu hein eitzim v'chachamim oimrim Te'ubal tzuratan v'yetzu lebeit haseif. The Mishnah says, in the case of the limbs of a sin offering which are eaten by priests and may not be burned on the altar, that were intermingled with the limbs of a burnt offering which are burned on the altar, Rabbi Eliezer says, the priest shall place all the limbs above on the altar, and I view the flesh of the limbs of the sin offering above on the altar as though they are pieces of wood burnt on the altar, and not as though they are an offering. And the rabbis say one should wait until the form of all the intermingled limbs decays, and they will all go out to the place of burning in the temple courtyard, where all disqualified offerings of the most sacred order are burned. Okay? That was the Mishnah. Now the Gemara. My time to Rabbi Eliezer. Amalko. The Gemara says, what is the reason of Rabbi Eliezer for deeming it permitted to burn the limbs of the sin offering on the altar as wood? The Gemara explains, the verse states, no meal offering that you shall bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, for you shall make no leaven, nor any honey, smoke as an offering made by fire to the Lord. As an offering of first fruits, you may bring them to the Lord, but they shall not come up for pleasing aroma on the altar. Leviticus 2:11-12. This indicates that you may not offer up leaven and honey as a pleasing aroma, meaning as an offering, but you may offer up leaven and honey and other substances that are prohibited to be sacrificed on the altar, such as the limbs of a sin offering for the sake of wood. The Gemara asks, and the rabbis who disagree with Rabbi Eliezer, how do they respond to this reasoning? They claim the merciful one excludes other cases at the beginning of the verse. As an offering of first fruits, you may bring them. This indicates it is with regard to them, meaning leaven and honey alone, that it is stated you may not offer up as an offering, but you may offer up leaven and honey for the sake of wood. But with regard to any other substances that are prohibited to be brought on the altar, one may not offer them up to the altar at all. Okay. Rabbi Eliezer. The Gemara asks, and Rabbi Eliezer, what does he derive this from? The term exclusion then. The Gemara explains, Rabbi Eliezer expounds this word as follows. It is only with regard to them, leaven and honey, that the verse includes a prohibition against bringing them up to the ramp of the altar, like offering them up on the altar itself. But with regard to any other substances that are prohibited to be sacrificed on the altar, bringing them up to the ramp is not considered like offering them up on the altar itself. The Gemara further asks the rabbis from where they derive this halakha. The Gemara answers that the rabbis learned to halakha from the word them. This term of emphasis teaches that all that is stated in this verse is referring only to leaven and honey, both the halacha that is permitted to offer them up on the altar as wood, and the ruling that the ramp is considered like the altar with regard to this halacha. Okay? Good. Okay, Masisen lo ki haitana Itanya Rabbi Yehuda lo nechleku Rabbi Yehuda lo chomim ani vere chata shnisavu eve oida shikru vere shelo yikravu. The Gemara comments, the Mishnah is not in accordance with the opinion of this following Tana, as it is taught in Brighton to Sefta 8:15. That Rabbi Yehuda said, Rabbi Eliezer and the rabbis did not agree with regard to the limbs of a sin offering that were intermingled with the limbs of the burnt offering, as all agreed that they shall be sacrificed. Likewise, they agree that if limbs that are fit to be burned on the altar become intermingled with the limbs of an animal that actively copulated with a person, or with the limbs of an animal that was the object of bestiality, which are prohibited to be sacrificed on the altar, that they shall not be sacrificed, even according to the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Al menechleku al evre oila tmimo shiniz'aru evre ba'alas boom שרבי אליעזר אומר יקברו ורויעני למעלה כאילו הן עצים וחכמים אומרים לא יקרבו. Rabbi Yehuda continues with regard to which case did Rabbi Eliezer and the rabbis disagree. They disagree with regard to the limbs of an unblemished burnt offering that or intermingle with the limbs of a blemished animal, which is disqualified from the altar. As in this case, Rabbi Eliezer says, all the limbs shall be sacrificed. And I consider the flesh of the limbs of the sin offering above on the altar as though they are pieces of wood burned on the altar. And the rabbis say they shall not be sacrificed. Rabbi Eliezer, Ma'ishna Rava v'nirva dochazu ba'as mum nami dochazi. The Gemara asks, and concerning the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, what is different about the limbs of an animal that actively copulated with a person, or the limbs of an animal that was the object of bestiality, that they may not be sacrificed? If one says that the person that they are not fit for the altar, that cannot be the reason, as a blemished animal is not fit for the altar as well. And there he holds that the limbs are burned. Okay, and we'll start the next daf. See how big it is. It's not terribly big, but still, I'll start it after the break.